Okay, g'day everybody, and welcome back to FTRL. You are listening to SBY. I'm back in the commentary booth after a fairly long break. I've taken some time out tonight from terrorising GT1 with push-to-pass moves in order to bring you GT2 live from Bathurst in our penultimate week of this GT29 season. Already got a few people in the lobby. Good evening, Max. Jonesy has joined the lobby now, hasn't he? Yes, he has. Owen already says, I hate this track, and I think we're very quickly going to be finding out who has practiced and who hasn't. Because this is absolutely the sort of track that will find that out very, very quickly. So we will see how everybody gets on. We're just about to go into qualifying, so it'll be 10 minutes. And then we'll be in for a sprint race of, I believe, 10 laps and then 24 laps of the endurance. So just about to get underway, medium tyres for the qualifying. And we are on board with, for now, Lee Cole, who is standing in for Beach this evening. So half points only for Lee tonight, as it will be for Ross, who's standing in for I want to say Derek? Yes, Derek. That's right, of course. So half points for those guys, but you're likely to see them at the front, although we're not seeing Lee at the front at the moment because he's decided to sit in the pits for a while, as has Glyn. Graham's in the chat, says SBI, the master of Bathurst. Oh, thank you, Graham, very kind. The nicest man in the world, except for Pete Man, who is also in the chat. Hello, Pete. Good to hear from you, mate. How are you? Derek's already off for a toilet break. Back for the endurance. I don't want to read any more into Derek's toilet break because I know he's had a curry for dinner. Lee finally exits the pits, but out front, keen as ever, Mikey will lead us round. Let's see if he falls off the hill. Nice and easy for the opening lap, as you would hope. No point in stressing the tyres. Be really interesting to see tonight whose car anyway is most capable and least trouble up and down the hill. Obviously I've been practicing plenty in the Peugeot. That's pretty stable down the hill. It's obviously not, as we found out, in previous races, not the quickest down the straight, but plenty stable over the hill, which is good news. The Audi, probably not so much, but remains to be seen. Definitely capable of some quick times. The Lamborghini, it'd be good to see these guys go well. They had a really good start to the season. They've dropped off a little bit since, although Switchback's picked up quite a few wins. However, that could well be a bit of a handful over the mountain. We'll wait and see. And then the Viper obviously will dominate the straights, but probably not to the extent that they did last week at Daytona. Team USA exacting a very heavy points tariff on all the other teams last week, as they picked up the biggest double points total so far this season. I think it's nearly 400 points they managed to get in the end. Speaking of which, let's have a look at the standings while we wait for people to come around. Yeah, so Team USA picked up 384 points in their double points week, so it's more than anybody else managed. It's catapults them right up to P3, just ahead of Team Italy. So I think it will be between those two for third and fourth. And then we'll see Germany 90 points behind France. Although with Germany still with their double points week to come on the final week of the season next week at Red Bull Ring. So watching Sir Goose go around in a minute, and the Viper getting a bit squirrely as they head up the hill. Just have to let off the throttle slightly there. You have to get very close to the wall, which Goose has done, but he couldn't quite hit the apex, and he's clipped the one on the outside. It's going to slow him down a little. And then, getting all out of shape coming through there. That will jeopardise that lap time a little. And then nice and carefully down the hill. And then back out. So I think that's going to be the quickest time he's going to set. We'll go back to the front. Oh, Switchback's in the wall. That's not going to help. Let's see what time Mikey can set first off. 136 is not bad through that sector. Not too bad. Could be on for a 206 here from Mike. Maybe a 207. Probably a 206. We all love Bathurst. Except Odon, obviously, in the chat. But everyone else, everyone who matters, loves Bathurst. Mike a bit wide, missing everything slightly on that final corner. But it is going to be a 2-0. Oh, is it going to be a 205? It is. A 205.9 for Mike to start us off. Unsafe release has overtaken switchback and he's gonna beat Mike's time here, and he crosses the line with a 205.6, which is a decent time as well. Ross, oh, that is lethally fast from Ross. 204.3. And Jadon coming in not far behind either with a 204.4. It's just some really fast times being set already. I think I might need to do some more practice after this race. Royston not so quick, but he'll have plenty of time to catch up. Zom even slower. There's been some incidents there. Same for Nobby, sitting at 211. But at the minute at the top, we've got Ross closely followed by James. Then unsafe a fair way back. Jonesy following him. Then Mikey, Glyn, and then that's probably, I think, Neo Joker's not too bad. Sir Goose, Dusty. Yeah, then you're into the people who quite clearly binned it on their first lap, but still. Just under 5 minutes to go, so time for another 3 laps. So plenty of time as Odon sets a 206.9. Let's see if Ross is up on his time. Don't think so this lap, no. Yeah, James is not a million miles away. Let's have a look at this split time for James. See if he's up. He's gonna just creep into the 135s over this sector, yeah, and he's slightly now. So he needs to be in the 134s if you're gonna challenge P1. Lee coming down the hill now. See if you can get the hairpin nailed. Oh, he's just drifting a little bit wide. He had to stay off the power a fraction longer than he would have liked, I imagine. Unsafe and switchback both improving. Unsafe just 4 thousandths behind Lee. Lee coming up the hill now. Let's see where he's at. This isn't too bad for Lee. He's nearly half second up on his best. That would put him into P3 if he can hold it there. Huge gap between the top 2 and everybody else at the minute, but others are closing in. Royston with a 206.2, that's a good lap from him. And Zon with a 206.7, so both the other Peugeots moving up a couple of places. We'll go back to Lee. This is a good lap. It's going to be a 204, but where in the 204s is it? It's a 204.5, which moves Lee up into P3. Nearly 3 tenths ahead of switchback. Just one person left to come round on this lap, and that is Odon. Again, this isn't bad. 206.9 to beat, and it's a 205.7, so a big improvement from Owen up into 7th place. Qualifying just so critical round here. You do not want to be stuck in the pack going over the mountain on lap 1 altogether. If anybody has an accident, if anybody gets slightly outplayed, it's going to slow everyone down. There's just no room to pass. Anybody who does try to pass is probably going to have a massive accident of their own. So you could find yourself very much off the pace if you do not nail one of these qualifying laps. And at the minute, that onus is on Nobby Norris, who still hasn't set anything under 210. Joker, Zom, Royston all need to make their way on. Sir Goose all need to make their way into the 205. Sir Goose isn't going to achieve that this lap. I think this is a better run from Royston though, so we'll keep an eye on Royston. He could be heading into the 205s here, and he'll be looking to grab a place at least in the top 10. Yeah, he's 6 tenths up, so this could be a good lap for Royston. Ross goes even quicker. 204.2 to pull further ahead. So I didn't think we were going to see any times in the 203s, but we're getting close. Can Royston nail this final corner? Oh, he's wide. Oh no. Oh, he's just going to lose a bit of time there. It's not even quicker. That's unfortunate for Royston. He's just trying to push the final corner a bit too far, and this will be the final lap. Zom has improved. Zom goes up to P10, but quickly demoted to 11th as Glyn manages to put together a lap and go into 9th, just behind Dusty Fossil, just behind Joker. So there's a few people who are close together, but then there's a few big gaps forming in between. Half second between Joker and Jonesy. Then you've got Switchback and Unsafe very close together. Lee is only just behind Jadon. 2:04.4, still his best effort. And then Ross a good 0.2 of a second ahead, so the Lambo looking pretty tidy as long as you can hook up a lap. And Ross has absolutely nailed that downhill section. You can see the Lambo just twitching out there, just desperate to get that rear end out. Mid-engine car, of course. This is a very good lap from Ross, but it's not Ross's times we're going to be interested in. It's going to be the people behind him, see if they can improve. James coming down the hill. If he gets a good exit here, he might get a good toe off Sir Goose. And a toe off a Viper is a good thing indeed, but I think he may be slightly too far back. In fact, he's bailed out of his lap and allowed others to go. So there'll be no improvement for James. Ross still has the lead. Lee is still on his final fastest lap. Unsafe Release has given up. Let's see where Switchback is. Now for the final time. Good time under the bridge. Very late on the brakes. Oh dear. Oh, hello. Quite a bit of lag there from Switchback. And he's going to set some form of lap. It's a 2:04.6 according to the game. I have no idea. Oh dear, that's very laggy. But it has put him into P4. And then Jonesy. Out of nowhere. Oh, everybody's lagging. Well, this isn't good. Uh-oh. Well, it's a good thing we finished qualifying, because there seems to be some pretty extreme lag going on. Lee still to come over the line. .2:04.2 for Lee. Wow. Yeah, I think we've got some lag issues we'll try and sort out. But there are the qualifying results. Ross takes pole with a 2:03.8. Lee snatching P2 away from Jadon. Right at the death of the 2:04.2. Then it comes James, then Jonesy in P4. Switchback Unsafe. Dusty Fossil, Sir Goose is on. Joker, Glyn, Odon, Mikey, and Royston and Nobby Norris, who did manage to put together a lap, but not quite good enough, so he will start at the back. Right, we will wait and see if we want to reset the lobby. In the meantime, let's have a look at the driver standings. So, in pole position, just shy of 30 points clear, is Jadon with 339 points. Switchback has been on the comeback trail and he gained a good amount of points in the last couple of weeks. 3 wins out of 4 for him in the last 2 weeks at Dragon Trail Seaside and Daytona. So he is up to 309.5. If it wasn't for that half points week when he wasn't here, he would be right up there, but he's still in with a chance. All eyes, I think, however, Unsafe Release, who is further back on 274, but obviously he being Team Germany, he does have his double points week to come. So if he can grab himself, somewhere close to the maximum amount of points, we are switching lobbies. If Unsafe can have a good result tonight, and then grab himself close to the maximum amount of points at Red Bull Ring, he definitely stands a chance. And then following on from those guys fighting for the rest of the places, you've got Joko, who's had a good season on 268. Jonesy, who has come from absolutely nowhere, getting 84 points last week at Daytona to Jonesy with his double points. So some effort has catapulted him right up the standings. He is in 2P5, ahead of Dusty Fossil. And then you've got Mikey, Odon, Royston, Goose, Derek, Zom, Nobby, and Beach. So, while we wait for the lobby to reset, let's see what lobbies everyone else is doing. Streetcars, 80s or 90s around the Nordschleife. That reminds me of last season. I don't understand this police thing. I really don't get it. If anyone's done one of these lobbies, please let me know. I see them all the time. Nothing interesting here, is there? Nothing anywhere near as interesting as FTRL, anyway. Right. So Derek's saying, step away from the Alsace test track. I was back on the test track doing a time trial. Doing one of the online time trials the other week. Nailed it, obviously. Right, so we're heading back into a lobby. New host. In the form of Zomla. Which means he now has to do all the qualifying, all the standings to get the grid set up. So we will give him a few minutes to do that. Has anybody ever actually been to Bathurst in real life? Let me know if you have. I mean, it's quite a way away. I've never been myself. If anybody's going to have, I can only imagine it would be Lee, but you never know. Would definitely be an experience. Let's go on board with unsafe release. You've got to be so precise over here if you want to get a really quick time. Some of these guys obviously managed it in qualifying. And if you're brave, you can really throw yourself down that hill, but maybe not in the Audi. So come on then, sprint race. Let's have your predictions. Who is going to win? Who do you think? In fact, give us the top three. Because if Ross manages to get away out of turn one, then I think anybody's going to have a very hard time catching him. But yeah, give me your predictions in the chats. Who are we going to see take the big points in the sprint race? And ultimately, a question that's been in the back of quite a few drivers' minds this season: is it worth it? Is it worth getting a good result in the sprint race? Especially in a scared the hell out of me. Especially at a track like this. With double the points on offer in the endurance to the sprint, do you want to be starting at or near the back? We've had very few people. There's been a couple of double victories this season. Switchback last in Dragon Trail Seaside. Jadon managed it into Lagos. That is it for GT2. There's only been one double victory in GT1, and there's no prizes for guessing who that was. Again, it's into Lagos. So, yeah, if you look through, you see a lot of the wins that have come in endurance have come from people who have finished pretty poorly in the sprint. But it's not really... You can't really think like that going into the race, I'd say. You can't really think I'll do shit in this race, therefore I'll do well in the other one, because then it could all go wrong and you could do crap in both. Yeah, but needless to say, right, we'll be heading off shortly for the sprint. Come on, people, give me those predictions. 1, 2, 3. If anyone gets it right, there may be a prize, or they may not. I'll give you a cuddle if you go to Spa. There you go. There's a prize. If you get all three predictions right, if you get the 1, 2, 3, you get a nice hug next time I see you. Here we go. 10 laps of Bathurst for this evening's sprint race. Ross will lead us off from Lee, so the two interlopers from GT1 will be leading us off at the front of the grid. Everybody else is going to do well to catch them, I would feel. Right, let's go. Ross leading us down. Somebody in the background was getting on the grass immediately out of that corner before they even got to the start-finish line. And then everybody filters through turn 1, and the Vipers in particular will be looking to get a good run out so they can make good use of that straight line speed. But Sir Goose a little too far back. Joker is closing in on Zomlar now, so he may be looking to make a move, but we'll go back to the front. As Lee is coming under pressure from James, Ross is well clear. Everybody filtering round turn 2. Dusty, Zolmin, P9, Joker, Glyn, Odon. I think everybody's round. They are indeed. And Ross leads us off up the hill for the first time. Lee in pursuit. There's already a 1 second gap out front. James is going to be quicker over the mountain than probably the guys ahead of him. So all he can do really, get as close as he can. Oh, and that's not going to help. Choo-hoo. That was very close. How's everybody else getting on? Dusty Fossil under a lot of pressure from Sir Goose as they head down through the tight left-hander. Is everybody making it through? Joker's still in 10th. Mikey Nobby's in the background. Traction control working overtime on that Lamborghini, but he's held onto it and he's pretty close to Odon, who has slipped back behind Royston. So, a good, clean first lap so far from everybody. It's good to see. And there is a big gap developing for the top 6. So, Ross out in front. Lee, Jadon, Jonesy, Switchback and Unsafe, all as you were from the start. And then decent gap back to Dusty Fossil, who's been challenged by Sir Goose, but he's defended and held on. Zom is looking very interested as well. What can Goose do? Pulls to the outside, there's not going to be any way through there. Carl blocks him off. Oh, gets a little bump for his troubles. Whoa, and that final corner can be nasty if you get on the curb and then are a little too trigger happy on the throttle. Goose saves it. Joker still in P10, Glyn in 11th following him. And we've lost a Mikey. We've lost Mikey somewhere. He's down to 15th. He's not a million miles off the back, and he's got the pace to get back into it. But that's not the optimum line, Mike. So Mike down 15th after lap 1. And Ross still leads from Lee, James, Jonesy, Switchback and Unsafe. You're top 6. Jonesy's looking racy, you have to say. And he's gaining on James. Let's go on board with him for a second. Nicely through that corner. Yeah, you have to let off the throttle a lot more in the Viper. And you can see he's just starting to lose a bit of time where he has to coast around these corners. And then, fairly cautiously, James has gone very wide ahead of him. Recovers it. Jones is still there, but James has now got a bit of a gap. 1.2 seconds to lead, so he's going to be out of slipstream range. Jonesy rounds the corner and gets on the throttle nicely, and he's going to be gaining now, and this is going to be a big gain all the way down the straight, which will get him back into slipstream range. The power of the Viper will start to tell. Jesus. That is not pleasant viewing from a French point of view. From over a second down to 4/10 by the end of the straight, and even less as he hits the brakes hard. And now he's all of a sudden, he's right on the back of 3rd place. So we will keep an eye on that. Watch out for Jonesy. Switchback and Unsafe still there. We've still got Goose, Dusty and Zom and Joker and Glyn. Yep, everybody else pretty much as you were. Nobby's had a drama. Oh dear. So we've got only one each in the battle of the spins between Nobby and Mikey. Mikey is on top at the minute though, set to 2:06.6, which is a lot better. That will start to enable him to catch back up to the pack if he keeps that up. Back to the front, Ross has a 2-second lead, set of 2:04.1, so looking pretty comfortable. Good lap from Lee as well, but he can't match that pace. The real battle is here in P3. Jonesy is harrying Jadon. He will not get through here, but James will be under all sorts of pressure. Aaron says, I'm concerned about the position of Owen and Mike. Yes. Yeah, it's not ideal. Not from a German point of view. 13th and 14th, and also the 3-second gap to Royston. And all these guys are setting pretty decent times. Royston may be P12, but his times are in the 2:05s, so Glyn a lot slower on the last lap, which is why Royston's caught up to him. But yeah, I think the Audis here are going to need some drama to happen ahead of them, which is obviously more than likely. So I'm still on the back of Dusty Fossil, who's still chasing Sir Goose, but Goose, despite Dusty being in the slip, Goose is pulling away. Yes, also from your alter ego English point of view, yes, all of Aaron's personalities are concerned right now. At least they all agree. Oh, look at this. Lee has lost out to Jonesy. Oh, what's happened there? So while we were discussing Aaron's concerns, Lee has not only been overtaken by James, he's been overtaken by Jonesy as well. Oh, please don't bring the Indian one back into it. Not again. Right, Jonesy will be glad of the straight line speed of the Viper now, but he may still come under threat from Lee. Look at that, that's ridiculous. Lee just can't catch him. How are you going to overtake a Viper on this course? Oh, like that? Jeez. Give him a good bump. That slowed Lee right down, and you can see in the mirrors there is Switchback and Unsafe Release. Neither are able to make a move yet, but you do have to rely on mistakes, especially in this sprint race where strategy doesn't really come into it. Ross is clear and gone. A member of every team from 2nd to 6th. Yeah, very good point. That's what we like to see. James is 4/10 up on his fastest, so starting to eke away that gap. I can only think that Lee incident must have affected Jonesy in some way, because that's a much bigger gap between Jadon and Jonesy than there was before. James is starting to move now. He's cutting the gap to Ross even. Back under 3 seconds. Ross did set a much slower lap last time, so he must have had some sort of drama. He doesn't really need to push it with this gap. He can set good consistent lap times, which he is doing again now, and he'll be fine. What's that saying? I know the Vipers haven't had a fun season, but it's been pretty competitive. Yeah, absolutely. And I really think, apart from last week, obviously, they haven't looked like much fun to drive, but they've really added a different element to this season. They've been so difficult to pass, especially the car and driver combinations. In Team USA, they've been so difficult to pass, and it really makes you think about how you're going to approach your race as well. So, really good choices of cars, and it's worked really well. We know what we're doing by now, don't we? Coming up on 30 seasons, you'd like to think so. Speaking of people who know what they're doing. Oh dear. Let's see, 2:19 from Mike on oh, hello. This is a constant battle. Every time we come back to them, one of them is spun. And it will be a fight to the end, see who can spin one less time than the other one. As Nobby Norris is relegated back to P15 and Mikey returns to 14th. Royston's now been relegated to 13th, so Odin has caught and passed Royston, who's had a bit of a drama of his own, a 2:12 on lap 4, but he's still within range, so that'll be a good battle to keep an eye on. Zolmer's dropped back down to 11th, unfortunately, and then so he's gone behind Glyn and Joker. And then Dusty Fawcett is following Sir Goose, who's made his way. Was he in 7th before? I don't think he was. Well, this is very ambitious from Carl. Looked like he was going up the inside of Sir Goose for a minute there. What sound does a goose make when you squeeze it at the follow through? So Aaron says, Mike told me he wasn't going to join the party today, but so he can concentrate on a track that he really needs to focus on. Guess what he's done? Well, I don't know if it matters, to be honest, because if he doesn't join the party, all he can hear is the screaming inside his own head. So either it's sort of swings and roundabouts, really. Goose is doing a good job keeping Dusty Fossil and Joker at bay. The others are sort of catching up a bit again, and Royston is closing back in on Odon, who's been, after his first lap anyway, he's been more consistent, but he's not quite got the pace there. Royston, I think, let's have a look at Royston's lap time here, because I think he is going quicker. I think, is he going to make it? Not quite into the 205s, but he is going quicker than Owen, so... Made a song and dance fit for 4 hours while I was nursing the worst migraine of my life. That's what you get for going to a garage night. Was that last night? Oh, these are super consistent lap times from Ross now, more consistent anyway. Back into the mid 204s. James not quite got that pace, although he has had better consistency. He's going to need a few more of those 204.5s, but in all honesty, he's probably not going to be catching Ross unless there's a mistake up front. Jonesy has lost a bit of ground. He's still trying to fend off Lee and Switchback. But he is proving, I mean, obviously, I think the Vipers, certainly in the sprint race, the Vipers look like they could be competitive. Because obviously they've got that straight line speed, and then there's just no way for you to go over the mountain to try and get past them. So it's been very, very difficult to overtake. Once again. As Jonesy pulls out a 7/10 gap now on Switchback, and he is closing in a bit on James. So we'll keep an eye on that. With no toe ahead of Lee, Switchback is closing in. Has he got enough in the tank to make this move? Not this time. Unsafe release has dropped off a little bit. Oh, we've got a bit of a fight developing here. Zom looking at Glyn, a little bit of contact, everyone's okay. These four duking it out. In the background, Royston still closing in on Owen for P12. Mikey's now got a 16-second gap on Nobby Norris, so here we go. Question is, when is Mikey going to spin, and does that give Nobby the opportunity? Ooh. Right, let's go back to this battle. Oh, the Viper. Not quite enough on the straight this time. So that's probably going to be as you were as we go back up the hill. That gap slowly coming down to P2, but not by a lot. 2:05.3 for James last time and a 2:05.0 for Jonesy. That's not going to be quite enough with only 3.5 laps remaining. We'll wait and see. Jonesy is going slightly quicker than he has done before. So he's on 2:04 pace at the moment. Lee is following him. Oh, Jonesy! Oh, he's got a penalty. That's one way to get past the Viper. He's going to keep Lee behind him for now, but he will serve the penalty on this lap. And that is going to relegate him behind Lee and probably behind Switchback as well. And so for Lee's a bit too far back. Well, let's have a look. James serves the half-second penalty now. Lee comes through. Where is Switchback? Ooh, he's gaining. Which side is he going to go? Jonesy cuts to the outside. Switchback's going to go inside. And gets the move done. So nicely done from Zach. Now can he hang on is the question. Jonesy looks to make an immediate move back up the inside. Can't get the Viper stopped in time. Switchback sweeps around the outside, holds the position. Now he's got the straight to consider after turn 1. He wants to stay in the toe of Lee and see if he can keep ahead. Oh, he's taken that corner really nicely, Zach. And this may be a case of make the move on the guy ahead of you, or you might get overtaken behind. It's not quite there though. All this has allowed James to get away, so the top two looking very comfortable now. One safe release. Putting all the pressure on Jonesy through here. Oh. Pretty much everybody going as wide as they dare there. They all make their way down the hill now. Oh, Glyn! Glyn makes a move on Sir Goose into the downhill section. And that has not helped his teammate at all. Glyn takes the P7, but Goose has now lost out to Joker as well in all that. Oh, and then Glyn's binned it. Oh man. Well, there you go. That's put Glyn. Oh, he's still getting going. That's put him all the way down to P13. Royston has got ahead of Owen. Big move for Team France there. Could make all the difference come the end of next week. And Royston is now not a million miles away from this battle ahead of him, which involves Zomlar, Dusty Fossil, Joker and Sir Goose, and now that is it. After Glyn's accident, he looked to make the move in a dangerous position, and although it wasn't quite at the same time, ultimately it's cost him. Look at Joker, all over the back of the Viper. Goose driving down the middle of the track. Oh, Joker is... He's got the turn. He's made the turn. Not like he wasn't going to get it done at one point. 2 laps to go. It's all heating up. Zomla having a look at Dusty Fossil in the background. And the train continues in a slightly altered format. Zom got the run on Carl here. Pulls out. He's pulling alongside. Outside this corner is a dangerous place to make a move. And yeah, nicely done by Carl. Holds it. Zon's going to have another go. He's going round the outside. Oh my. Yeah, that's always going to happen. Into the wall. There's a lot of battling going on here. Royce, just keep it clean, keep it quick. He may be with a chance of catching these guys if this carries on. Right, they've all settled themselves down slightly as they go over the mountain, so let's look back to, yeah, Ross more than comfortable at the front. James absolutely fine in P2. Lee is now half a second ahead of Switchback and a little bit of gap back to Jonesy, and then unsafe release has, he clumped the outside there. Coming onto the straight, he's lost a bit of ground as well, so it may well have to settle for P6 tonight in this race. Oh, an old school Gladiators reference in the chat. Excellent. You're the equivalent of Jet at Hang Tough. Excellent. My favourite was always Lightning. Lightning, when was that? Mid-90s? Yeah, it was Gladiators, mid-90s, wasn't it? Mid-late 90s. Yeah, I would have only been about 9 or 8 or 9 there, but yeah. Like, Lightning made me feel a bit funny in words I couldn't have described at the time. Mike's favourite was Saracen. Yeah, these guys are all spread out. We'll go back to where the real action was. What's happened? We lost a Carl. He's got down to 11th, so we'll change again. So Sogo still holds P7 after all that. Joker is now comfortable in 8th. They've all spread out a bit now, but as we suspected, Royston has managed to catch up, and he's also managed to pass Dusty Fossil. So now it's a decent, consistent race for the two Team France drivers here. They've started fairly far back. Zom's made up a place or two. Royston's made up a couple as well. And Odon's been relegated to P12. Glyn is now P13 after his accident. Mikey has managed to finally get some consistent laps in, including a couple of 205s, and is now very much clear of Nobby Norris, who's still enjoying all of the Bathurst track, shall we say. We'll have to see how he manages to lead off from the endurance in the endurance race. Oh, where you going, Mike? There we go. Right, coming around the final corner at a counter. Nice and easy, as you would expect for Ross. Comfortably done. On that pace, he looks like he may well be a threat tomorrow in GT1 as well. Jadon with a good P2, taking advantage of some incidents around him. Lee comes home in 3rd, Switchback in 4th, Jonesy in P5, good race for him. Unsafe release in 6th. And then doesn't look like any more challengers position as Goose comes home in 7th with Joker, Zom, Royston, Dusty Fossil. Then we have Odon Glyn catching, but not quick enough. He will finish in P13. And then Mikey, round the final corner. And across the line. Let's go over the line with Nobby Norris. Nice and clean, that's what we like. I can give one bit of advice to Nobby Norris for the endurance race. It would be, just make sure you get to turn 2 in the lead, and then for that entire bit over the hill you can go as slow as you want. Nobody can get past. You've seen what happens if people try. So, we'll see what he does. More Gladiators chat. Have you seen Sabre from the new one? Which one is Sabre? I have seen the new series. I can't remember which one Sabre is. Sabre. Oh yeah, God, she's terrifying. Right, results. Ross with the win. James in P2, Lee in P3, first and third, half points, of course, for the drivers and teams. So James will pick up the most points from the sprint race. Followed not too far behind by Switchback in P4, then Jonesy, Unsafe Release, Sir Goose, Joker. Zomlar, Royston, Dust Fossil, Odon, Glyn, Mikey, and Nobby Norris. So as always, reverse grid for the endurance, which will take place before the setting sun of Bathurst. So we'll be going into the evening during the race. Won't affect things too much. Just a bit of a different environment people get used to, and obviously the main consideration here is strategy and specific. Well, the main consideration is not binning it down the hill, but beyond that, the main consideration is strategy and fuel. There's a number of different options for this race. "24 laps. I don't think, or I don't believe anyway, that any of the cars on the grid can get to 12 laps comfortably without reasonably significant fuel saving. So there's a choice to be made. Do you go for the lap times, or do you try and pull off the one stop? And a lot of things are going to come into play. Obviously, there's a big section of the track where people on maybe people who are upshifting early, people who are coasting, people who are using a different fuel mix are going to be slower than you, and they're going to hold you up over the mountain if you are trying to go quickly. But if you can get some clear air, that could be absolutely key here. What is going on in this chat? Jet bats for the wrong team. She's a little unlucky. That puts pay to that dream then, Aaron. Aaron says, to be fair, I only like women too. Oh, you're one of those male lesbians. Come on, I didn't get any predictions in the sprint race. I want some predictions now. Come on, we've got 12 people watching. First of all, like the stream, what's wrong with you? And secondly, I do want some predictions. I want a P1, a P2 and a P3 from everybody, bearing in mind that it's a reverse grid race, so we'll be seeing Nobby Norris and Mikey on the front row. Where is Nobby? There he is. Come on, Nobby, you can do it. I mean, he's got the hard tyres to contend with at some point in this race as well, so maybe I won't hold up the most hope ever, but we've seen him do it before. Maybe not around this track, but we've seen him do it before. Terek's going for the last to first from Ross. A last to first here would be quite something. even with dropping down on division to sub in. We shall wait and see. Let me have a look back at the results. Let me see what I think is gonna go well. The Vipers did reasonably well in the sprint, but I don't think the fuel is going to be an issue. I don't think they maybe not going to go as well in the endurance, a bit like that. I think Ferrari takes James wins, Ross second, Unsafe third. I do think Unsafe did quite well from what would be a P, is it a P8 or a P9 on the grid? P9. He's got a chance there. I'm gonna go team orders as well. I'm gonna back Zom to have a good race. It may be dangerous, but that's what I'm gonna do. Now is the time for Team France. It was undoubtedly a poor set of results for Team Germany in the sprint. If Team France can edge out just a few more points in this race, then it will be absolutely all to play for going into the final week at Red Bull Ring. Some more points needed there, both tonight and tomorrow. Honestly, I'm so disappointed in Odon. How could you hate this track? How could you? Right. Here we go. Absolutely key race in this season for a number of drivers and also for the Constructors' Championship. Nobby Norris has posted in Discord to say, "Give me a woad berth, please." I don't know what that is, but watch out. Go on, Nobby. I back Nobby to make it at least round the first lap. Let's go. He's on the hard tyres. Do it, Nobby. Do it for the Italians. Here we go. The man himself will lead us off, followed by Mikey, Glyn, Odon and Dusty Fossil down to turn 1. Everybody getting through okay, but Mikey's had a poor exit and Glyn is right on him immediately. I didn't take note of Glyn actually. He had that unfortunate accident, but he was going fairly well before that. He could be in a good position for a really good race here. Started on the medium tyres as well. Nobby started on the hards. So everybody filing down to turn 2. Zom is under pressure from Joker, but Joker stays behind for now. Goose, Unsafe, Jonesy, Switchback, Lee, James and Ross. Everybody pretty much as you were. We are going to see what Nobby Nice to do up the hill. He's under all sorts of pressure, as you would expect from the medium tyre runners behind him, but there's not going to be really room for them up here. So this is not going to help them to start off with. Nobby heading up the hill. I don't think up the hill is his problem. I think down the hill is his problem. As you see, he swings quite wide there, but manages to get it through. Oh, Glyn! We've seen him go for one move through there, and it didn't end well in the sprint race, but he's backed off. Nobby keeping it in the high gears. Oh, the traction control kicking in, but he's made it through. And still in P1. He's going to come under extreme pressure now from the Viper, and if Glyn can make it through, he'd be in a really, really good position. I'd have no doubt that Glyn is going to make it through here. I don't think Nobby stands a chance I don't think it really matters to his race. What matters is staying up there. Yep, Glyn eases past into P1. A bit further back, Owen is coming under pressure from Royston. Is Royston going to look for the move? Royston on the hard tyres, as is Owen. Ooh, Royston has to take evading action as he's gone deep. Oh, and he's onto the grass. Just has to keep it stable. He's done well there. There's a massive gap behind him, fortunately. Zolmer's been certainly involved in something with Joker, because there was a huge gap between him and Royston. So Royston's not actually lost out too much from that little adventure. Jonesy Goose in the background running very wide. Switchback is battling with James. James looking to go down the inside of turn 1 as he he's slotted back in now. Ross still at the back. These guys will be looking to sit tight, maybe save as much fuel as they can for now. They're all on the hard tyre to start with. Oh, Jonesy, unsafe release. Getting racy in the background behind Joker. Unsafe holds the position. A bit further up, Royston and on now running P6 and P7. As I said, not a disaster for Royston. It has allowed Carl up into P5, and we know that Carl is good on the fuel, especially when he's got a strategy in mind, so keep an eye on him as well. He's already got more fuel than the guys around him. Nobby now has lost out to Mikey as well, so Mikey is into P2. And the bookies are offering even odds on which one will spin first. I really want to see at least one of them have a really good race. Glyn is checking out up front, as you would expect. The Viper is flying, but it's also absolutely chewing its fuel. So Glyn will definitely be going for the 2-stop. Or I can say that with confidence already, even though he's only 2 laps in. But if he can set some really good times and build up a gap, that is what's going to be needed. He could be on for a good race here. Jesus, he's using a quarter of his fuel on 2 laps. Mikey, not much better to be fair, but he's making headway as well. Nobby still P3, and we've got some pitters at the end of lap 2. Odon and Royston have both pit off the hard tyre at the end of lap 2, so those guys will be 2 stopping and looking for 11 lap stints on the mediums. And critically as well, what that will do is get them out of this traffic where people are setting times in the anywhere between the 2:08s and 2:10s, and that is everyone except the top 2 who are running away a bit now. So everyone from Nobby Norris back is setting a time that is either pretty much a 2:09 or a 2:10. And that is, even on the hard tyre, that is not race pace. So these guys are suffering in the pack, so we will wait and see. As Joker is pitted as well, they've all gone onto the mediums. Is this the right move for the 2 stoppers to stop as early as possible, get some clear air, and try and undercut the other 2 stoppers? I genuinely think this race is going to inform a lot of strategy for tomorrow as well. Ross is looking very interested in getting past James, but it's not going to happen here. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Who's round? Oh no! Oh no. Oh, now we get the Austin Powers special from Nobby. And we are going to stay here and watch it. Sorry, Nobby. Eventually scrapes the Lamborghini to life. A million Italians collectively wince as he crushes that front bumper along the barrier. And gets it going again. Such a shame for Nobby. Well, my prediction came true. He lasted the first lap and the second as well. There's nothing to do now but get back into it. What that does do is give Glyn and Mikey a very clear berth in P1 and P2. These guys are well clear and setting times in the 2:06s. which is a good 3 seconds quicker than a particularly car behind, although Jonesy has now picked up the pace massively and set a 206.8 on the hard tyres. I think these Vipers have to go for quick lap times. I don't think they have a choice. The fuel is just going to kill them anyway. Jonesy goes 1 times purple through the first sector and makes a pretty comfortable move. He's ahead before the corner. So Carl didn't really fight that. I could understand that. So he drops P4, Jonesy in P3. Look at the fuel difference though. Both on the hard tyres. So there is probably a 15% fuel difference. Oh, we've lost Mikey. There it is. Who had that on their bingo card? I dare say most of you. Oh, and now Mikey. If he doesn't get a move on, why is he reversing that way? Oh, this is tragic. Oh God, turn the other way, Mike. What's going on? Oh no. What's he doing? Mike, turn the wheel the other way. Oh, there we go. Right. Oh Christ. Okay. Oh, right, back to the race. Oh, another yellow. Have we got another yellow flag? Oh no, it's a penalty. It's a penalty for Sir Goose a whole second, and that is gonna give Jadon and Switchback the move. Where's Ross? Oh, Ross not too far back. He's pushing Switchback along at the minute. Oh, he's pushing him along to try and stay ahead, get ahead of Sir Goose, which they've managed. Lee in the background is looking interested as well. He's going to go for the late move. No, Goose parks in the middle of the track, as is his right. And Lee stays in P10. He'll want to try and get past if he can. As we have some pitters at the end of lap 4, so some more definite two-stoppers. Switchback and Ross, so the two Lamborghinis pitting for the two-stop. So this will be interesting. See what the difference is between these guys pitting at the end of lap 4 and the guys that pit at the end of lap 2. Obviously they will have a lap further to go on their mediums. They may well have to save a little bit of fuel as well. But they are more than comfortably ahead. I mean, they were ahead on track anyway, but that is a big gap and a big time difference. Switchback now exits the pits onto the medium tyres, and he's a full 7 seconds behind Joker. That is a huge difference. And yes, they will have more fuel. Oh, more fuel and a 1.5 second penalty for Ross. I don't know what that was for. It's not for cutting the pit lane, because I'm pretty sure that's a 3 second penalty. Where has he managed to pick that up then? I can honestly say I have no idea. But that is going to affect him quite badly. It's going to cost him at least 2.5, 3 seconds down the straight, that. Just give Mike something to do. Oh, Mike, get out of the wall. Right, Glyn is nearly 8 seconds clear of Jonesy, who has managed to, obviously managed to get P2 earlier. Glyn is a long way clear. This could be his race. We could be seeing Glyn versus the one-stoppers here, depending on how he goes on that when he gets into the hard tyres later. If you can get in a groove around this track, you can just hammer in lap after lap after lap, and just occasionally it all comes together, and it is honestly the best feeling in this game, bar none. As the sun starts to set, we see that Glyn is putting in quicker and quicker laps. Jonesy still is fastest with a 2:05.8, but he's actually got less fuel than Glyn. He's done a 2:05.8 on the hard tyres though, so that is the difference. The Vipers might have been in a really good position. And who else is looking good? Carl is looking very good. James is looking very good, especially when it comes to fuel. Zombie is into the wall and loses a position to Sir Goose and also to Lee. Zom needs to concentrate on his fuel as well. It looks like he's gunning for the one stop, but he's not really there as it stands. He needs to save a little bit more fuel. Now he's got no pressure from behind, he might be able to do that. Just try and sit behind Lee, who will definitely be fuel saving as well, and see if he can get to that one stop. And behind them come all the people that have pitted. Odom, Royston, Joker. Well, Nobby Norris hasn't pit yet, but obviously he had his accident. Still hope for Nobby though. Mikey had a much bigger accident. Well, no, it wasn't the accident. It was the getting going again, where he refused to turn the wheel in the correct direction. And then comes Switchback and Ross. So, yeah, it remains to be seen. And these guys' pace will bring them back into it. But it looks like pitting on lap 4 instead of lap 2 has cost them. Ross goes 0.8 purple. That penalty has really cost Ross on the last lap as though he's 5 seconds behind his teammate now. They came out pretty close together. Ross can finally now get the hammer down, look to salvage some of this. See what time he sets through the sector. Oh my, this is going to be a 34 through here. Or 35. Still 0.7 purple. So it's going to be close to a 2:04 for Ross, which is very, very quick for the endurance race. Especially with 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Nobby Norris is in on lap 6. .2:04.9 for Ross, fastest lap of the race by far. And so Felice is, having come out of the pits, is looking to catch up as well. He's got more fuel than anybody else though, so he'll be relying on that. Yeah. On to lap 7. Zom has just under half a tank of fuel, so he might just make it to lap 12, end of lap 12. These guys, Zom, Lee, Goose, no, not Goose actually, Goose is eating his fuel because he's in a Viper. So Zom, Lee, Carl, James, all going for the one stop. There's those 4 and that's it. Up front, Glyn is so far clear, nearly 8 seconds from Jonesy, but he has, in fact, he's got more fuel than Jonesy, but still comparatively nowhere near as much as the guys one stopping behind him. And he will have to make an extra stop, so he needs to just drag as much of a gap as possible out of this. He'll have another medium tyre stint to come. The question will be, does he pit? Does he do even stints? Or does he try and eke a bit more life out of these medium tyres? That would probably be the way. Remains to be seen, yeah? As always in these races, an interesting competition developing, which will only really be known how it's going to play out come the last few laps. I'm very depressed at Mikey's lap times. Oh no, he's unfortunately he's about to be lapped by Glyn. Glyn will see the yellow flags and think, what the actual fuck? And now Mikey's getting blue flagged. Oh, this is, oh no. No, this is more sad than funny now. Unfortunately, Mikey's head's gone. He will now have to get out of the way for Glyn in a second. Jonesy's closing the gap. Jonesy is down to 7 seconds. That was pretty much up at 8 seconds before. James is under pressure from Sir Goose, but Sir Goose does have a half-second penalty, so James doesn't have to worry about that particularly. He's not going to get passed down here, and Goose will lose that time on the straight. So James definitely the most in contention of anyone here, for the one-stoppers anyway. Will Goose come under pressure from Dusty Fossil? I don't think so. Let's have a quick look. Goose slowing down. Here comes Carl. The gap dropping from 1.7 seconds down towards a second, but he's not going to be anywhere near close enough. That Goose has pretty much only lost half a second there from that. Limpets at the end of lap 8, interestingly. So the fuel is running low. He could have only realistically got one more lap anyway. But it looks like even stints for Glyn and for Jonesy. So the Viper's going 8.88 by the look of it. Not quite the number of the beast. Maybe it's the number of the American beast. Like 666, but a bit fatter. Goose pits as well, so all the Vipers have got their strategy worked out, and that promotes the one-stop runners to the head of the pack. Which is James being nice and consistent there, 1,000th up on his best sector one time. And not quite as consistent with his lap times. He's managed to get it down to a 206.9, but then just dropped back into the 208s on these hard tyres. And Dusty Fossil and Lee not a million miles behind, and actually doing ever so slightly better on fuel. So these three are going to be in pretty close competition once that stop has happened. They're all going to be on the medium tyre as well, as is Zom, but Zom is another 4 seconds back, but even so having a good race so far. Zom has not quite yet recovered his fuel, but I think he's probably still just about going to get there. We just have to keep a careful eye on that, and I think he is probably saving fuel now, as you can see his lap times dropping off a bit. Still in decent position. Meanwhile, further back, Odon, Joker, Switchback, and Ross has recovered nicely. He's set some absolutely blistering lap times as Switchback slides his way down the mountain, and we've got a problem here for Lamborghini because Switchback's now holding Ross up. And another drift around that corner. Ross gets a better exit. Is Switchback going to let him through here, or is Ross going to push him along? From a pace point of view, it makes sense to let Ross go, and that is exactly what's happened. Zach will tuck back in behind. So the two Lamborghinis now hunting down ahead of them, Joker and Odon. Let's see what sort of times we're seeing here. So the Audi just sneaks into the 206s, Joker slightly behind. Ross and Switchback, or Ross anyway. Second, that driver, obviously Ross significantly quicker. It's into the 20, it's comfortably around the sort of 2050 mark. That is severe pace, especially when you consider that a lot of the other guys, especially the ones doing one stop, are on sort of 208, 209, and Ross is going quicker than quicker, so I would not count Ross out of this yet. James still leads 2.7 seconds out of Lee, who's running around with Carl just behind him, and Zom 4 seconds further back. Odon is now going to start holding these two up, I think. He's got less fuel than they have. He's got to make sure he manages that fuel, otherwise he'll be in for a difficult stint. He came in on lap 2, if you remember, and it's definitely got him track advantage. We've got a yellow flag. Who is it? I don't know. I still don't know. Is it just someone who's pulled over? Yeah, Mikey's pulled over. So let everyone through. Well done, Mikey. And these gaps pretty consistent at the moment. And he's got into his rhythm now. He's setting some good lap times, mid 207s on the hard tyres. As the fuel starts to burn off, these times are starting to get slightly quicker. That wasn't that quick from James though. A 2:08 to Lee's 2:07. So Lee's gained a good chunk of time there, even though his tyres are looking a bit more beat up, especially for the hard tyre. But only 2 laps to go, and he is closing in. Carl hanging on in there as well, as is Zom. A bit further back, but he's fastest lap of the race on that lap, 2:08.4. So Zom's still going well. Odon is still holding this pack up. Now is somebody going to make a move? Let's go on board with Joker and see. Oh, they're still side by side. Joker has got the inside though, there's nowhere ready to go here on the outside. Owen's going to have to back out. He doesn't, and that's going to cost him. Ross is going to dive up the inside. They're now going to go side by side. Owen might just hold on here. Luckily for him, he does. You just cannot go around the outside of that corner. It's never going to work. Oh, Joker hits the wall. Odon's on the grass. And this is holding Ross up severely, and switchback as well. You already see their lap times drop off. And they were on an absolute charge, and now these two are holding them up. Which is the problem if you're going to go on a 2-stop. Joker's pulled a bit of a gap down the hill, so he'll hope to be comfortable. Owen slips backwards. Yeah, he gets a good drive out. He should have the gap. Owen's got back in slipstream range, so that might help him coming down the straight. We're now here to test the Audi straight line speed against the Lamborghini. Ross is very, very close and undoubtedly going to make a move here. Into the chicane. Pulls to the inside early. Has he got the slip? Oh, and it's contact as they come around the right-hand kink. Well, Ross gets the move done. That was aggressive, but he got it done. Into P6. Now just Joker to deal with, and then he'll be released again, but this will be a slow lap. The Lamborghinis has hampered their progress once again. Quite as much as the last lap. Right, the final lap for the one-stoppers. James Lee and Carl comfortable on fuel. Zomi is in the red quite significantly. He's going to have to save a little bit more, and you can see his time's dropping off now. 2:0, pretty much a 2:0.10 on the last lap, so Zomi's having to severely save fuel to make it, but still in a decent position. He probably won't catch these three now, but the his battle is going to be with some of the cars behind him. Whoa, Joker. That was close. Ross looks to have come under a bit of pressure at the start of this lap. He's not really closed in on Joker. He probably will as they come up and round the hill now. Joker's tyres and fuel are not looking great, and he's getting very close to a number of walls. Whoa, he's so wide there. Ross has caught almost a second on him over the top of the hill. So come the next couple of corners. Oh, and Ross has made the move as Joker got on the curb. Opportunistic move from Ross, but it was nicely done. And he takes P5. Yeah, Joker's struggling on his tyres now. You can see it's given over on the run as well. Joker might be about to lose another position after the good work he did to make that up. He's going to need to pit very soon, and that leaves him in a tricky place. So I believe he was one of the ones that pitted early, and he was planning to go to lap 13, I think, so he's going to have to go another lap. He's gone defensive for now, as all the one-stoppers pit. Zom's made it, thankfully. He comes in about 8 seconds behind Dusty Fossil. These three all together, Jadon has a fraction more fuel, and now Ross will lead the pack through to retake the lead of the race for now. So as of now, the two stoppers have a very slight fuel advantage. They will also have the pace advantage. They're having to do fewer laps on their final stint. That's where it will get interesting versus the one-stop runners. Joker is diligently holding on to P2 here. He's losing ground to Ross, but that won't be his concern right now. It's probably not his race anymore. He's still battling with the Audi of Odon. Glyn has arrived on the scene as well, and Glyn, we've not paid much attention to Glyn since he made his first pit stop. He's arriving on the scene on his hard tyre stint with a lot more fuel and a lot better pace than the guys above him, so don't count Glyn out of this yet. He's on a different strategy to the rest. He's got Jonesy not too far behind him as well. The Viper's coming back into play now. I will freely admit I completely forgot about the Vipers for a few laps. I was thinking in terms of one stop versus two stop with those guys ahead, but these guys are definitely still in the fight. Unsafely, he's not too far back as well, although his fuel is not as good as the guys ahead of him. Switchbackers had some moments, I think it's safe to say. A 2:27 on the last lap. So a 20-second incident switchback rules him out of this race pretty much, and could well rule him out of the driver's title fight as well. As it stands for the drivers, things looking very, very good for everyone's favourite Brummy. So Joker and Odon do make their 11 laps, make it into the pits. Joker suffered with his tyres on that stint at the end, but still in a decent position. Really nice livery, I really like those. Where are these guys going to come out? Going to come out behind Nobby Norris. Go on, Nobby. So he's got Zom for company, and Zom comes round on his one stop. Ooh. So this is going to be an interesting battle to watch. So these guys have got 2 laps less to do, and they've fully fueled, so they will be going for it. And they are Joker is less than 6 seconds behind Zom. Joker's actually pulled a bit of a gap on Owen as well by virtue of having, I think, slightly more fuel than him when he came to the pits. Royston is on the one stop as well. He's a bit further back. He's going to have to hope this race, a few of these guys come back to him a little bit. Obviously Nobby will have to pit as well, so he'll be behind Royston. But then it's going to be Odon, Joker, Zom. Then you've got the one-stop runners, and then you've got these guys. So back to the front, Ross is 6 seconds clear. He's running out of fuel. Ross has run out of fuel, and that is another little incident which is not quite going to help. It's not going to affect him massively, but it will cost him probably a second or two coming into the pits. He's gunning the engine with what little he has left. So Ross runs out of fuel coming into the pits. Glyn will take over the lead of the race. He still has one more stop to do though, as does Jonesy, who is now right on his tail. Now Jonesy has recently been setting low 205s. Much quicker than Glyn ahead of him. Jonesy is on the medium tyres, that's why. So Glyn will have his medium tyre stint to come when these two pit, and undoubtedly they should. I say undoubtedly. What phrase? Undoubtedly they should. Undoubtedly they should work together. They probably will work together. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen yet. Let me all know what you think. Who's got this race? Who is net P1 at the minute? I'm really not sure. Jonesy is actually looking interested. Glyn's let him through. Okay. So some team orders there for the Vipers. Glyn has let Jonesy go on the softer tyres, which makes sense. And so Felice's not out of this yet, but yeah, his fuel is affecting him. He's deep into the red. So he will be stopping soon on a fairly different strategy to everyone else, I think, from unsafe release. I'm not 100% sure what he's going for. He's going to be doing a 9-lap stint on the mediums when he comes out. Fine. James and Lee are locked together here. And I am certain this is going to be a battle to the end. Lee is set at 2:06.3, so I think he's been able to push his fuel a bit more than James on the last lap. So it remains to be seen what happens there. But Carl has slipped a lot further back. I think he's had... yeah, you see the outlaps there? Lap 13, 2:40 for Lee, 2:40 for James, 2:45 for Carl. So Carl's had a bit of an outlap incident, which has dropped him back from this pack. I'll be still going. He'll be in for fuel soon, as long as they've released pits as well. Zom has lost... he's lost over a second to Joker behind him on this lap. Or is it over? No. No, we'll keep an eye on the lap times there. I can't remember whether he was 6 seconds ahead or 7 seconds ahead when he came out the pits. Zom's got to be... He's managing his fuel pretty well at the minute. Nearly a quarter of the tank gone, 3 laps into his stint, so that's exactly what he needs. But that gap is now down as Ross passes Joker out the chicane. Ross is going to start hunting Zom down. As Zom comes around, but on the medium tyres, that is not bad pace with the fuel saving, 2:07.7 compared to Joker's 2:80. So Joker's actually lost time on that lap. That may well have been a result of Ross passing him. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm pretty confident that Ross is going to catch and pass Zom, but I don't know about Joker. As Unsafe Release exit the pits just behind his teammate, Odor. So Unsafe's got better tyres, more fuel. You would expect maybe some more team orders and probably a pass at some point. Royston a further 5 seconds back. Zach, after his drums, has come out 10 seconds behind Royston. Nobby pits. Mikey is doing Mikey things, doing a 3:10 on lap 9. Jonesy has pulled well clear of Glynn. So we've seen some stellar Jonesy performances recently, it has to be said. In recent weeks, Jonesy has had his first victory last week, of course. I say some stellar performances in recent weeks. He had a stellar performance last week. He absolutely fucked it at Seaside. And as such, it wasn't great either. But before that, he was doing alright. So, could be on for another good result here. We will wait and see as the two Vipers pit. Now, this is key. Gooch's got a pit as well, so he is not going to trouble the podium. But what we're really looking at is these guys. Jadon. Net race lead, just ahead of Lee. The Viper fuel is going in. How much fuel do they need? It's going to have to be reasonably close to a full tank, you would think. So yeah, the one stops at the minute are comfortably clear. More than comfortably. So ultimately, despite some really good lap times and some good clear air, it's going to be the fuel that costs the Vipers here. Jones has had to fill nearly to the top, and he's got to come back out in P6 behind Ross. And that is bad news for Joker, because it means Zom, between Joker and John, Joker and Zom, 3 cars. Ross, Jonesy and Glynn. I sense a Zom roadblock coming. I don't know how long it can last legitimately, because he's got a fuel save. Oh my word, he doesn't want to be doing that. That's not going to help. He's got a fuel save. So I don't know how long this can last, but they're all going to be piling up behind Zom, so he could be in some action here. Oh, Zom is all over the place. He needs to get his head back in the game. Ross is looking for the pass, which is not going to happen there. Ross has run wide because of it. That's going to bring Jonesy into play. Gives Zom a little bit of breathing room coming down the hill. Jonesy all over the back of Ross now. This could prove dangerous for Ross, because Jonesy will have the straight line speed, of course. Yeah, it has been indeed sign that unfortunately the fuel has been the downfall of the Viper pretty much every week. But this is where you'll see the upside, because Ross is out of slipstream range, and Jonesy is going to make the move. Surely. Oh wow. Not yet. He's going to push Ross along. That's an interesting choice from Jonesy. He must feel confident of passing Ross later on, which I wouldn't be too confident on, because he's pushed him into the corner instead of making the move. I'm not convinced that's the best. Not convinced that's the best move from Jonesy, as Ross goes for the dive down the inside on Zom. There's contact on the outside of the corner. Zom's run wide onto the grass. Where is he? He's down to P6. And now he really is in a battle with Joker. And that will be music to Joker's ears, as well as Glyn behind him. Joker's going to have to look in his mirrors more than ahead of him at this point in time, because Glyn is coming through. This is where all the strategies start to come together. The main one-stop runners at the front do look to be clearing away, but Glyn is closing on Joker. Joker defends the inside line. Can Glyn get the drive? He can. There's not really an opportunity here before, as we've seen. You don't gain anything from going down there, and Glyn is sensible. Backs out of that, he's going to have to wait for his next chance. Come, Conrad, straight. So Zom is struggling now. He's still got to look after his fuel. He's raced a good race, but he's now coming under all sorts of pressure. He's had a couple of moments. Just needs to keep his head in the game, try and defend as best he can, but it's a long, long way to go. And there's a number of cars starting to line up behind him. Oh, Royston switchback is absolutely flying now. 2045. We just clump it into the wall there. The 2045, and that gap from Royston that was a 10-second gap a couple of laps ago. It's now 3 seconds. So I was thinking that Switchback might not be catching Royston here, but that is obviously not going to be the case. And that is the real. Oh, did he have a moment there? No, he's all right. But that's what the two-stop gives you. If you can put good laps in, you're going potentially 2-3 seconds quicker than people at times. So. Yep, Joker now closing in on Zom. And Ross is free to set off after Jonesy. So, the lap time differences here are significant, so Carl may still be under threat for P3. The front two are clearing away. I've got almost no doubt about that, even though there's 6 laps to go. It looks like it's going to be James versus Lee for the win. That was a bit of a sloppy corner from James, but there's not really any way through here, as we said, so Lee will just have to bide his time. Maybe save a bit more fuel if he can. They're almost equal on fuel as it stands. James has got slightly better tyres, which may come into play on the mediums later in the race. So yeah, Carl may come under threat. It's currently 8.5 seconds between him and Jonesy, but the relative lap times, it's nearly 2 seconds a lap, so if Jonesy can keep that up, he will catch him, but in a minute he'll be looking, just glancing in his rearview mirror, because Ross is, after his dramas trying to get through the pack, is back on the hunt. I think in Ross's race you've seen the potential pitfalls of the two stops. He's had a number of incidents which have cost him, you know, between sort of 3 and 10 seconds here and there. Obviously the pace is there, but that explains why he is 17 seconds off the lead. The battles that he's had to have, plus running out of fuel briefly, obviously, what's left him in the position that he's been in. Jonesy just punting that Viper along to a casual 170. Ross briefly reaches that total as well before he breaks to the corner. And the gap is now under 7 seconds. So we're obviously not forgotten about this battle at the front. We're keeping a close eye on it, but that really won't come to a head until probably the last lap, you would think. So really, it's all these mini battles that we're keeping an eye on. This is going to be the next one. Joker versus Zom. Zom gets a good run out of the corner then, stays off slipstream range, and all of a sudden, a wild German appears. Unsafe release. He's going to have a look here at P7 and goes to the outside. Cannot quite make it stick, and that is costing these cars time, so... Oh, we got a yellow flag. It is Mikey. Yeah, just checking. Just checking. Oh my Christ, what a place to stop. It's just going to be an accident there if we're not careful. Fair play to Mikey for keeping going. He's got going in. Okay. Nobby Norris is going to claim victory in the Battle of the Spinners. This time round. He will outscore Mikey by getting the P14 in the endurance race. In fact, he's only 14 seconds behind Goose. No, he's only 15 seconds behind Royston, so Switchback has caught and passed Royston as we expected. So Royston currently P12. And this battle between Unsafe Release and Joker is costing them time, as is, despite having to manage his fuel, is hanging on just about. Joker is getting closer now. Oh, but Unsafe Release goes past him. Is Joker going to try and fight back? Not this time. So Unsafe takes P7. Joker may have to settle here for letting Unsafe go, as Zom goes extremely defensive into that corner. Oh, and Unsafe onto the grass, which is going to cost him a little bit, but not too much, and he's going to have another go here, as Zom again takes the most inside-ish of all the inside lines, and holds his position, but he's going to really, really struggle to do it this time. Hey, we got City Posh Blue in the chat. Good evening, my friend, very good to see you. Cheering on one of our resident Germans. Is Unsafe going to make the move on Zom this time? Zom again defensive, holds off. He's got a long time he has to do this for though. It's going to be some effort from Zom if he can stay in P6. And in the meantime he's got Odon Glyn closing in behind as well. Oh, Unsafe clunks it into the wall on the outside. It's going to cost him a little bit. Won't really make too much of a difference up here though. Just allows Zom to save a little bit more fuel. He's hanging on just about. He has to be careful though, because these guys will be getting impatient, and then one of them may be tempted into a move over the mountain if there's any sort of mistake from Zom. As it stands, he's causing a massive roadblock. Hanging on in there. Oh, Unsafe. Oh, he was trying to make the move, and that might cost him. Joker's right there, and Zom, by dint of people getting perhaps a little bit impatient, all Unsafe really had to do was wait for the straight there and get the slipstream. Zom's got a slight reprieve. Can he hold on to his fuel? He's absolutely on the line, you have to say. We are keeping an eye on the front two as they come over with 3 laps to go. Oh, Joker makes a very late move, and Unsafe is off. He's cut over the grass. He's back on. That was a late move for Joker, and now everybody else is turning up. Odon is there, Glyn is there, and this could be a reprieve for the King. Is for Zom himself, because Joker has caused an issue, contact with Unsafe Release, and now it's led to a 4-way battle for P8 between 2 Audis and 2 Vipers. No, sorry, 2 Audis, a Nissan and a Viper. Wow. So now the Audis are battling. This is what we need to be watching at the minute as we head into the night time. Unsafe takes P7 back off Odon, but Odon's under pressure from Glyn as well. He's gone flying back here. Glynn on the medium tyres, plenty of fuel. Is he going to take P8 off Odon? This could be dangerous. They're side by side. Odon's got the inside line though, and that will always win out coming up here. So now it is Audi, Viper, Nissan. The battle is still on, but because of all that, Zom desperately trying to save his fuel, desperately trying to make the one-stop work. He's holding on to P6. Ross is closing in on Jonesy meanwhile, he's 2 seconds back. Jonesy has set good lap times as well, and both of them are closing in on Dusty Fossil. There's a 1 second gap between them now. That gap was over 10 seconds after the pit stops, and it is down to under a second. So Carl has got 2 laps to hang on. The one-stop is coming under all sorts of pressure, which you would expect, and in the meantime up the front with 2 laps to go, it is the battle between Jadon and Lee for the victory. These two are well clear, they can afford to have a bit of a fight, and no doubt that is what is going to come. Once again, James slightly better on tyres, slightly worse on fuel, but I think with 2 laps to go they're both reasonably comfortable to go for it. So we'll come back to that battle I think on the last lap. But in the meantime, I think Carl's run a really good race here, but I think he is about to lose his podium position as that mighty Viper engine gets going. I don't think it's anything Carl can do here. He's not even going to go defensive. Jones is going to sail past and get this move done before the corner. Yeah, absolutely nothing that Dusty could do there. Ooh, Jones runs a bit wide. He's okay though. I think Carl will just concentrate now on holding P4 and just trying as best he can to manage that 3 second gap to Ross. Ross is very quick. He had a bit of a shoddy lap last time around though. He would be a lot closer, look at that 206.2. So, ooh, Carl has a chance to hang on, but he's got to look after his fuel as well. I think we'll see Ross in contact on the last lap of this race. That gap between Unsafe, ooh, Unsafe's having a moment. It's not affecting him too badly. He's now clear of Glynn and chasing down Zom. Odon is right behind Glynn, he's actually being held up here. Odon's got less fuel, less tyres, but he is going quicker than Glynn over the mountain, as you would expect. He's got to stay in touch, and behind him Joker is right there as well, trying to recover from his moment a couple of laps ago. This is very, very tight for a number of positions. Looking back, Switchback is 4 seconds behind. He's not going to catch these guys, I don't think, unless there's any more shenanigans. Royston is he's fine in P12. Goose is P13. Norris, and then Mikey. Here we go. We're heading on to the final lap of what has been an absolutely enthralling race. For a while now, James and Lee have been separated by probably no more than half a second for the last few laps, and now it is crunch time. So we'll have a quick check back. Jonesy is comfortably away from Dusty Fossil, as you would expect in P3. Another good race for Jonesy. Carl's trying to hang on, but that gap to Ross is already down to pretty much a second. He's going to have to put together a supreme defensive performance to hold on to P4. Zom is still P6, but Unsafe Release is just over a second back now. Glynn behind him. Zom may have to rely on Glynn. Zom is very little fuel now. He may have to rely on Glynn challenging Unsafe. Glynn's got better fuel, he can gun it for the last lap. A bit further back, Onan and Joker are still battling for P9. We're going to go back to the front as soon as those guys get over the top of the mountain to see what happens. But in the meantime, let's stay on with Odon as night descends. All the headlights are on. Odon looking for a way through, but he's not going to find it there. Zom trying his best. That gap is 1 second, but fuel is very, very low. He's got to make sure he doesn't run out of fuel. He won't be able to do anything about these guys catching him up. He can save fuel all he likes over the mountain. They won't be able to pass him unless he makes a mistake. Just drive down the middle of the road. But now we're going to go back, and Jadon's pulled out a gap. There's a 1 second gap coming onto the Commonwealth Straight. What has happened to Lee? Lee has pushed too hard over the mountain, and I think that does it for Jadon. He's got a 1.5 second lead. Well, we didn't expect that. We were expecting a battle down to this chicane. But Lee has had an issue somewhere, and it has cost him a shot at the win. All James has to do is see it round these final couple of corners, and he's going to take a victory that will all but cement his Drivers' Championship. Round he comes, fantastic performance as always. Jadon is going to take the win in GT2 at Bathurst, followed by Lee. Jonesy with a very, very good P3, and Carl has, I'm not sure how, has Ross run out of fuel? Ross has got low on fuel, and unsafe release into the chicane has managed to get past Zom. Glyn is going to have a go as well. Zom has got next to no fuel. Can he go as defensive as he dares? Glyn's going to try and go round the outside. Zom takes the inside line. Glyn's on the grass. It was side by side. There was no room. Fantastic performance from Unsafe Release and Zom. Unsafe P6, Zom P7, Glyn. Then Joker has managed to get himself into P9. Odon has had a drama somewhere. He's out of fuel. Oh, he's run out of fuel before the line. So Zach takes P10, Odon 11th. Royston finishes in P12. And then we will have Sir Goose we'll bring it home for P13. Mikey finished a while ago. What's Nobby up to? Nobby's into the wall. Sir Goose will eventually make it across the line. Eventually. Over the line he comes for a P13. Nobby serves his penalty. And we will follow him home under the stars at Bathurst. Through to P14. Oh, hello. That doesn't help anyone, Nobby. I'm not sure that's what he had in his head when he tried that move. And here we go. So Nobby across the line, not his favourite track, I think we know. Nobby, for fuck's sake. Oh, Jesus Christ. Please put us out of our misery. There we go. He's finished. And there we have it. Another classic Bathurst race. the onion string livery, race suit livery, celebrates another victory with Jadon. Almost last to first, not quite, almost last to first. And then following him home, Lee in P2, Jonesy, excellent result for him again. That will do his Drivers' Championship podium chances no harm at all. Dusty Foss P4, Ross in 5th, Unsafe Release in P6, Zom, Glyn, Joker Switchback, Odon, Royston, Sir Goose, Nobby, and Mikey in P15. And there we have it. Please, 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 please do join us tomorrow for GT1. It's going to be, I think, quite the race. There's a number of people who know this track inside out. There's a number of different strategies, and they'll only have been further informed by what we've seen tonight. I think that the two-stop is still a legitimate strategy, despite the fact the one-stop has run out tonight. You've just got to have serious pace, and it can be made to work, but we will wait and see what people decide to do. It may well be a game of bluff. We will see. But for tonight, that is it. It's been great to be back in the commentary booth. Thank you very, very much for joining me, everybody who has. Including a couple of old hands. Thank you for joining. Lights Peatman, City Posh. Great to see you again. I hope we'll see you tomorrow as well. We are done. Have a good evening, everyone. See you next time. Bye.